Hello and welcome back to Our Vision Farm. Today is Friday evening and tomorrow is the last day of our farm stand, and we are running a little bit low on vegetables on the stand, so I'm going to go around the property and see if there's anything ready to harvest right now. And I did do a little harvest in the morning. I had picked some cucumbers and but today we sold all of our cucumbers and our zucchinis, and somebody bought our radishes also. So I'm not sure what all is going to be ready to pick, since I did kind of go through in the morning and pick any of the ripe cucumbers and things like that. But it's a good chance to give you a little garden update at the same time. So I'm going to check these pickling cucumbers over here and see if there's any ready, but I did pick through these in the morning, so there might not be any ready. I think I left some, yeah. So like this morning was not even ready, and then right now it is. Things grow so fast. Even with no rain or anything, they grow really fast. So here's another one, but this one's not big enough yet, but I'm gonna go through and see in case I miss any. Some smaller ones. I'm gonna pick this one. This one's a little thicker. Cucumbers, zucchinis. I still have carrots on the stand, so I don't have to pick any more of those. I don't know if I'll pick any radishes. Radishes don't sell. They do sell, but I don't want to be left with radishes if they don't sell. I don't mind being left with cucumbers and zucchini and things that we can cook for dinner. I don't see anything else in here. The rest of this garden is mostly kale. The rhubarb is pretty much out of season. We had this volunteer butternut squash plant that's growing here, and it's starting to take over. I have been pruning so that it doesn't take over the whole entire garden. In here we also have some random small tomatoes, which I've been picking from already. So these over here, they're like grape or cherry tomatoes. I've already started harvesting some, but these are not ripe yet. I have also been picking any tomatoes that have started blushing or turning color and finishing the ripening process indoors. So I'm going to do that also once I get to the bigger vegetable garden. Our pumpkins are doing great. I am still heavily pruning sunflowers. I still have 3 bouquets with sunflowers in the farm stand, so I don't have to pick any more of those. Look how huge the nasturtium plant has gotten. It's been taking over the whole entire box. Let me show you some of the pumpkins that have turned ripe already. I don't know if they're ready to pick yet. I've been watching them, trying to wait until the stalks dry up a little bit more. But you can see an orange pumpkin through there. That's our biggest, most giant pumpkin that we have on this volunteer plant. And then here's another one that I think is ripe, but it still has a little bit of green. And then the stem still looks pretty like green. And then the tendril looks like it's just now drying up at the tip. It still has some green. So I don't think I'm going to pick these yet. And it still has lots of green pumpkins that are turning orange. I'm going to leave them to ripen a little bit more. But I'm wondering if I could pick them if I wanted to. But I'm going to leave them. And before we head into the vegetable garden, here is our Jarrahdale pumpkins with the grayish skin around them. I'm also watching those closely. I see a lot of them turning that beautiful smoky gray color, but I'm watching to see. I want the stems to dry up a little bit more. I feel like they are still growing. The stems are still fresh and green, with the exception of maybe one that kind of looked like the stem was starting to dry off. So I don't want to pick those prematurely because I want them to be edible pumpkins, not just for decor. So I want to pick them when they are ripe, and I don't want to accidentally pick them too soon. Our watermelons are taking over. I've been pruning these so heavily, so they have a lot of little baby watermelons and flowers on them. And these are the petite yellow watermelons, but I feel like they're getting so big and they're still not ripe. There is one which I'll show you all the way over there, that looks like it's going to get ripe first. But the other ones are definitely still have a ways to go. So let's go back there and see. So here's the first watermelon that we had growing. So that's how big it is. The spot on the bottom is still like a creamy color. It's not yellow yet. But I noticed the other day that the tendril is starting to dry up, like at the very tip, similar to how the pumpkin was over there. I've been knocking on it and just trying to get used to figuring out how to tell when a watermelon is ripe, but I don't think it's ready yet, and I don't want to pick it too soon. There's another one there. We have a couple small ones like that one, all different stages. Here's a little one. So we're waiting patiently for those to ripen so we can pick them at the perfect timing. And I think these are all acorn squash. I think that some of these might be ready, like maybe one or two, so I might not harvest yet. But they look like this, and then the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to turn orange. Let me take a better look. It's like golden color right now, I would say. It's not a pale yellow, but it's not a deep orange either. So I think these are close, but not there yet. So I'm going to leave them be. I'm going to wait till I have at least a couple to harvest and put out on the stand one day. But look how big the plants have gotten. These are another ones that I've been pruning and pruning and pruning because I don't want them to get too big. They keep trying to head towards our fence, so I'm trying to keep them away. And then over here, I've been pruning the watermelons so that they don't grow too much on this side, because we do have the cantaloupes. These cantaloupes were the most recent ones planted from seed, so I'm not sure if they'll make it to produce cantaloupes this year. Hopefully they do before it gets too cold, because I have a lot of them planted down the row. Then we also had a volunteer spaghetti squash plant that grew out of our compost bin, and we've transplanted it in here before all of this was like flourishing and getting so big. So it's definitely a little overcrowded, but with lots of pruning and lots of keeping the plants in check, I'm controlling it so that the plants don't get too big. But next year, now I know to not plant these things so close, because they will eventually grow big and expand. The rest of the garden, we're starting to get our round zucchinis in. I've been picking cucumbers in here. Our first watermelon radishes I picked earlier this week, but there's not any ready right now. These are the round zucchinis. So you can see they're growing like a little ball. So those will be ready before we know it. These seeds were planted not that long ago, and I'm shocked at how fast it all grew and already flowering and already producing little vegetables. These are the newer cucumber plants that we planted, just now flowering. Then I also threw in some thyme seeds a while ago, just leftover seeds that we had in the packets, and those started growing. We harvested peas already. Some of these are ready to pick as well, but I'm not going to pick any today. But these are the sweet peas. This is the second row of sweet peas that we planted, and some of them are ready to pick already. For the tomatoes, this is just what I've been doing, picking anything that looks like it's starting to ripen and then just finishing it off. I actually put them straight into the shop and they end up ripening in the next few days, but these I'll probably put by the window and let them ripen, probably use them ourselves unless they happen to hold on till next Wednesday when we open again. So there's a really big one. All these plants fell over. We had a really strong windy day one day, so my plants flopped over, but I'm not too worried about it. The tomatoes are already ripening, and then after this it's pretty much going to be fall and it's going to cool down, and I feel like the production is going to slow down anyway. So I'm just leaving them flopped over as they are and picking from them as they ripen with the sun. Pulled off an extra one there, but that one's starting to blush. Peppers aren't producing yet. They're still in the flowering stage. Here's some more kale, sunflowers, zinnias over there, and then our little experimental corn that we planted. Just checking the rest of the tomatoes. I usually harvest in the morning, but like I said, we're open one more day for this week, and the stand was looking kind of empty. So I just want to restock it, and whatever doesn't sell tomorrow on our last day, then we will just enjoy ourselves or make something. I was thinking of making a fresh salsa with all the tomatoes that we haven't sold, and try to can it. I've never tried canning salsa before. These are zucchinis. I see a little one. There's a big one here. This one's in, yeah, I'll pick that one. Try not to break it. I didn't bring a knife or anything. And here's the Ashley cucumbers. I must have missed this one this morning. Or they just grew really fast, like I said. Here's a smaller one. I think that one's big enough. Alright, this is the second cucumber plant. Just gonna pick anything that I see big enough. Alright, that's about it for that. The rest of the garden is cabbages that aren't ready yet. They're just now starting to form their heads. Carrots we still have on the stand, so I'm not going to pick any of those. We have lots of collards, lots of kale. The beets are still small. Every now and then I find some big ones and I pick them and sell them in a little bunch, but they're still too small to actually sell to customers. I'll probably just end up saving them for ourselves and making pickled beets out of them. Then the rest is the kohlrabi that is still kind of weird. I don't think they're going to form a head at this point. But our onions are doing good. These are the Spanish yellow onions. They're still small. We did harvest 2 of them to make like a fresh salsa last weekend. So they were really good. They had the layers just like onions. They tasted good and a little bit spicy. But that's how they're looking. I'm going to wait till they get bigger and finish drying off to actually harvest those. So I think that is all I'm picking for now. Got lots of cucumbers, tomatoes in all different ripening stages, and the 2 zucchinis. So that is my little mini harvest, which I'm surprised I even got this because I did come out here this morning and harvest. So let me get this all inside, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video of what we're harvesting right now in August here in Maine. End of summer pretty much, and then we are zone 5A in Kingman, Maine, so that is what we're growing right now. Still waiting for the peppers and eggplants. The eggplants, they look like this right now, so the plants have definitely blown up, but they're not flowering yet. So I'm crossing my fingers that we get to harvest some eggplants, that they actually grow and get pollinated and give us some eggplants before it gets too cold. But other than that, we're really just looking forward to harvesting our onions, cabbage, the rest of the tomatoes, definitely watermelon, and then all of the pumpkins, the assorted pumpkins, and continuing to harvest carrots and cucumbers. So that's what's going on in the garden right now. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.